Self-respect is not something you announce, it's something people detect. Before you speak, before you explain yourself, before you prove anything. People sense your self-respect the same way they sense fear or confidence, without words. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people don't treat you badly because they're cruel. They treat you according to the psychological signals you broadcast about your own worth. Today, we're not talking about confidence. We're not talking about ego. We're talking about self-respect, the invisible structure that determines how the world responds to you and why losing it happens quietly, but costs you everything. Most people think self-respect is emotional. It's not. Self-respect is behavioral. Psychologically, self-respect is your brain's internal rulebook for what you tolerate, not what you want, not what you deserve, but what you allow. Your nervous system is constantly asking one question: is this acceptable? And every time you stay silent when something feels wrong, every time you over-explain instead of saying no, every time you abandon your values for comfort, your brain updates the rulebook. It doesn't ask why, it just records. Over time, your tolerance becomes your identity. That's why people with low self-respect often say, "I don't know how I ended up here." They didn't fall, they adjusted. Here's a psychological trap almost no one talks about. Your brain prefers predictable pain over uncertain growth. If disrespect is familiar, if being ignored is familiar, if being undervalued is familiar, your nervous system labels it as safe. This is why people stay in jobs where they're invisible, why they stay in relationships where they're tolerated, not valued, why they stay quiet even when something inside them is screaming. Leaving would require recalibration, and recalibration feels like danger. So the brain whispers, just endure, at least you know this pain. Low self-respect is often not self-hatred, it's comfort addiction.
This is crucial. People don't wake up wanting to disrespect you. They probe. Small things first: a delayed reply, a dismissive comment, a broken promise, a subtle joke at your expense. They're watching, not consciously, but psychologically. They're asking, is this allowed? When nothing happens, the boundary moves. Silence is not neutrality. Silence is permission. That's why self-respect isn't loud, it's consistent. One calm correction early prevents years of quiet resentment later. People with strong self-respect explain less, not because they're rude, but because their nervous system doesn't seek approval for boundaries. Over-explaining sends a subconscious message: I'm not sure I'm allowed to want this. The listener may not think it, but they feel it. And here's the harsh part: the more you justify your needs, the more negotiable they appear. Self-respect sounds like this: that doesn't work for me. No defense, no apology, no speech. The brain of the other person registers certainty, and certainty ends arguments before they begin. When you don't live according to your values, something subtle happens. You fracture. There's the external you, polite, agreeable, functional, and the internal you, resentful, exhausted, quietly angry. Psychologically, this creates cognitive dissonance. Your brain hates inconsistency, so it tries to resolve it, either by changing behavior, hard, or changing self-image, easy. Most people choose the second. They say, this is just how life is. I'm asking for too much. I don't matter that much anyway. That's not humility, that's self-erasure.
This is where people get it wrong. They wait to be respected before acting with self-respect. Psychologically, this never works. Respect is not a reward, it's a response. Your behavior teaches people how to categorize you. Are you optional, reliable but expendable, emotionally flexible, or psychologically anchored? People don't consciously label this, their nervous system does. And once the label is formed, it's hard to change. That's why self-respect feels risky, because the first person who has to believe you deserve better is you. This part hurts. Raising your self-respect means disappointing people who benefited from your silence. It means losing versions of yourself that were easier to love but impossible to respect. Your brain resists this loss. It equates acceptance with survival. But here's the psychological truth. You don't lose people when you gain self-respect. You lose roles, and roles that require you to abandon yourself were never safe. Not speeches, not declarations, not dramatic exits. Self-respect is built when you stop replying immediately to disrespect, when you leave the conversation instead of winning it, when you choose rest without justifying it, when you say no without explaining your trauma. Your brain tracks evidence. Each small act says, "I protect myself." Over time, your nervous system relaxes, and when the nervous system relaxes, presence increases, voice steadies, posture changes, people notice.
People with low self-respect personalize failure. People with high self-respect analyze it. Psychologically, the difference is identity attachment. If your worth depends on outcomes, failure feels like annihilation. If your worth is stable, failure feels like data. That's why self-respect creates resilience, not confidence. Confidence fluctuates, self-respect anchors. This is the final trap. You don't build self-respect by understanding it. You build it by acting before you feel ready. The feeling comes later. Your brain updates identity after behavior, not before. That's why waiting to feel worthy keeps people stuck forever. Action first, emotion later. Self-respect isn't loud. It doesn't seek attention. It simply stops negotiating with what depletes you. And when you stop betraying yourself in small ways, the world adjusts, not because it suddenly becomes kinder, but because your nervous system finally believes you matter. And that belief changes everything.